Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 115.
115.
That's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number.
How you been?
Good. Things are groovy again.
Groovy again. Not just groovy the first time, but they're groovy again.
They're groovy again. They're re-grooved.
Re-groove it? Is that a word?
No, we're going to make it a word.
I thought I was the one who says words that don't make sense.
I'm adopting some of your personality.
Taking that over?
Yeah.
I'm going to adopt some of you. It's like an old married couple.
Sure.
You know, I morph a little into you and you morph.
Yeah, you're the yin to my yang.
It sounded a little weird.
Yeah, whatever.
Not that kind of show. So tonight's episode, how to teach your child emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with emotional intelligence?
Yeah, well, I was a psych.
Oh, that's right.
I have a degree in psychology. But that being said, emotional intelligence, it's not always something that people discuss. And it's kind of a relatively new phenomenon. Yeah. I wouldn't say new, but I don't know how to put it. Newer in
Newish.
terms of philosophy of people having different types of intelligences.
Yep.
And I'm a huge proponent of this, by the way, because there's some people who are way better at certain things in terms of the way their emotions are versus like scholastics.
Correct.
For example.
IQ versus EQ.
Exactly.
Yep. So emotional intelligence, this is Wikipedia, which is the definitive guide to all things.
Yeah. It's on the internet. Must be true.
Inquirer didn't have it listed. So emotional intelligence, or EQ, which means emotional quotient.
Yes.
Is the capability of individuals to recognize their own and other people's emotions, to discern between different feelings and label them appropriately, to use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, and to manage and or adjust emotions to adapt environments or achieve one's goals.
There you go.
Basically, it's just to understand your emotions and other people's emotions.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to that whole empathy thing that we kind of said even in last episode.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think I'm a fairly intelligent guy, but I also think my EQ might be even higher than my IQ.
Yeah.
I think as I do read things. Someone even said it's like borderline clairvoyance because I can understand what person's thinking before they say anything.
Yep.
So it's kind of strange.
I can attest to that you do that.
Very weird.
Yeah. So someone's got to be the brains.
You be the brains, I'll be the heart.
You've got the brains.
Yeah.
What is that?
Pet Shop Boys. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's make lots of money.
Yeah. So schools actually have begun to teach EQ. In schools, they teach emotional intelligence a little bit. They've started to understand how important that is.
Right.
But the primary focus is still IQ, which we're talking about.
For sure.
Intellectual. So there's a couple different ways to strengthen a child's EQ or emotional intelligence, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Cool.
So the first one, teach them about the different emotions, just plain and simple. So basically, when children are young, and there's people that will say there's 6 major emotions, there's 8 major emotions, there's 25 major emotions, whatever. I'm doesn't matter. You can choose what you want. But basically the major ones: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust. So just teaching them that there are these emotions, because I can tell you right now, like my 6 and 8-year-old, if I said, what's disgust? They may or may not know what that is. They may know fear. They know happiness. So it's like teaching them that there are these different types of emotions.
Sure.
The second thing is, then what does each of these feelings look like? So that could be the physicalness, like meaning what does it look like on somebody's expression?
Yeah.
And you can have like a chart of like the faces. I've seen that before. Yeah. Like the different faces of like what an emotion like that looks like. Also, what it might sound like, that's something else too. That's like when you are in fear, how does your voice sound? Or when you're sad, what's that combination of like, when you're crying, is you're sad? Or, and it's, we're talking about young children too. This goes into It's important to identify these, even for people who might even be a little bit older. It's like to really identify what this emotion is, and describe it in great detail. Like, what is fear? Fear can be blah, 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 and there's places that you can look to what that is, but it's really, and there's like flashcards, there's all kinds of stuff you could do. But you really want to have a good understanding simply of just what those emotions are, and so that's important. And so, you could also show, like I said, you could show pictures, you could show facial expressions, you could show a video of something.
Wasn't there a cartoon? Inside Me or something like that?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. That's what
that was. Yeah, it was great.
Something very similar. Thing
very
with
similar.
Literal representation.
They had 4 emotions, and they did it, and they did a great job, and kind of teaching you how they each act.
Yeah.
No, I love that movie. Right. It was really, really good.
It was good.
Number 3, have them recognize these emotions within themselves. So once they've understand the different emotions and what they are, and then what they may look like, it's then getting into kind of how they feel and identifying, have they felt this way? Like, when do they feel this way? So like, if you're going with anger, it's like, when do you feel angry?
Right.
Have you felt that before? What were you doing when you felt that? So it's learning to get in touch with the scenario and the emotion and what that feels like and that connection. It's not easy. There's probably some that are easier than others. But a lot of people just don't, quote, get in touch with their emotions. Even adults, like they really, they suppress things and not realizing. It's like, and you'll hear that like with a guy, like, well, I haven't cried. I mean, that was like, to be macho or something. It's like, I haven't cried since my blah, 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 whatever. It's like, okay, so what does that mean?
You get a medal for that?
So, it's something that often as men, we may not be as in touch. So it's important to actually maybe go through this exercise as well. If you're the one who's helping your child, it's like, you may have to do a little bit of digging as well to understand what these emotions, because they may not be emotions that on the surface or even in depth that you've explored. Right. We've all probably gotten angry.
For sure.
But some maybe more than others. Other people, man, no, I don't really get mad. I'm pretty mellow and I'm not, well, but it's okay to have that, that emotion.
For sure. Yeah. Excellent.
Number 4, talk about your own feelings. So as you're teaching your kids, and as I said before, it's like, we often will avoid our feelings, and that can be just for our own protection. It could protect our children, those around us, not to cause waves. There's all kinds of reasons. When you were growing up, you might have suppressed your feeling or your emotion to not affect those around you. Or if you had emotion, it was traumatic, where you're not allowed to feel a certain way.
Right.
You weren't given permission to have those emotions.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're sad? Blah, 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 whatever. And so that can become, pretty bad. Number 5, recognize and explore feelings in different places. So what this means is, talk to your child about how they feel when they're at home, or how do they feel when they're at school.
Right.
Another thing, some specific place, like when you go to this amusement park, how does that feel? Do you feel joy? Do you feel, and that's what this feels like. They might feel at home a certain way that's different than school. So you want to get a perspective that in different situations, they're going to feel different.
So you think that strengthens their EQ, so to speak, because you're putting them in different scenarios?
Yeah, they're different scenarios, recognizing that I'm not the same in all kinds of situations.
Right.
Now, that's a whole other discussion about how situations cause your emotional state and your feelings and, that. But for the purpose of this argument, that's what you want to do, is have them understand the differences in different scenarios.
Right.
To do that. Because what you're really trying to just teach them, like, there's all these different emotions. You're going to feel these different emotions, and they're in different scenarios.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's what the first step is just doing that. Number 6, and probably one of the most important things, is allowing them to express their emotions and allowing themselves to express themselves. So, getting upset because your child is scared is really, or minimizing a situation that they're mad about or something like that is bad. So, and I can identify, I mean, I remember situations like that where you get frustrated or something because of an emotion that they're having. Right. I don't know, my daughter can't find her shoes, that example, about it a while ago, and she's going really, really crazy or feeling crazy and angry and mad and all this frustration. And I get upset at that. Right. It's like I'm getting upset at how she's reacting to it because I don't think that that's a good reaction. Right. But that's her reaction. Yeah. So it's then you got to just deal with it in a different way. Sure. And not letting it not allowing it to help you or to affect you, I should say. Yeah. So allow your children to express their emotions. It's funny. My mother actually had an audio program called Feelings Just Are. And that's exactly what that was. For sure. Number 7, show empathy and teach empathy. Yeah. So, we can't teach it if we don't do it ourselves. Oh, for sure. So you got to show it. Yeah. I think it's one of the most important skills of EQ. Yeah. For sure. I mean, it all kind of comes together with empathy. For sure. That's like the all-encompassing thing. Yeah. Number 8. So once they've sort of gone through this process, they've, identified feelings, you've talked about it, they understand different situations and different things. You want to teach them how to problem solve. Okay. And what that is that not all emotions require problem solving. That's first of all. So not all of them require to solve it. Right. But sometimes just letting the emotion out, just kind of letting it out or just allowing them to feel it. Yeah. It can be enough. That, and you've probably experienced that where you just talked about something and then you feel better. Yeah. Like you really don't have to do anything about it. No, it's like, I know the answer. I just need to talk about it or scream or punch a punching bag or something. Yeah. There's some emotion bottled up. Yeah. But if the problem does need to be solved, it's up to us to teach them how to approach it. Right. So an example might be, you're really angry that your sister took your toy. I can see how that would make you really mad. So what do you think we can do to make this a better situation or to solve this? And kind of that kind of thing. Well, I need to hit my sister. No, that's not the right way to do it. Take it, dial it back a bit. Right. But we could share. We could take turns. I mean, and you're helping them see that there's this problem and they have an emotional reaction to that problem. And then they feel the emotion, and then how do you resolve it? Right. So it's full circle. Yeah. That's the important part of how to solve it. And another one that I didn't really say on here is how to just deal with the emotion. Right. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just I remember one that I was teaching my kids where when they got upset, instead of hitting or doing they would hold their shirt. Because it's that's not hurting anybody else. Right. You're allowed to feel it. Go ahead and feel the emotion, but don't hurt anybody else. Yeah. You might feel like you want to hurt somebody else. Right. We all get that, but it's how do you channel it and how do you do it? Absolutely. That's why we got the karate punching bags. Yeah, that's cool. And they're dangerous because they both know martial arts. Exactly. And then number 9, teach them that emotions aren't good or bad. They just are. So as I was saying, the feelings just are. Emotions shouldn't have judgment or praise or criticism. Right. They just get to be as they are. And this is a big one in relationships too. Yeah. When somebody says, I feel blah, 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 you can't get mad at that. Right. And that's my thing too. You're absolutely right. It's one of those things that you got to let the person feel what they feel. It's just that how they react to it might be not as healthy. If they're punching people and throwing people downstairs, not a good idea. But that being said, if you're okay, it's okay to feel what you feel. I don't like when people try to suppress their emotions because they don't want to feel certain things. No, actually, it's better if you just let it happen and be whatever it is and let it out. Give yourself permission to feel that. Yeah, emotion. That's what a lot of people do is they'll get upset at themselves for feeling sad. Yeah. And I don't understand that. It's you're getting sad over feeling sad. Well, grief was like that. When I dealt with grief with my mom's passing, that was I initially, prior to going to counseling, was I felt mad at myself and angry with myself and kind of critical of myself
for feeling sad. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to be strong through this, and I'm supposed to be, and that's, I learned a lot about allowing myself to feel the emotion, be sad, cry, I'm going to feel anger. I'm going to feel all these things, and just allowing myself to get, and the more and more that I let it come out, the better I felt. The better you feel.
And allowing my kids to see it, and my wife to understand it.
And because under rational circumstances, it sucks. Yeah. It's okay. And this is not just a bad emotion.
No one's going to criticize you.
No one's going to criticize you for being, well, if they are, get them out of there.
Right.
Like, they're a jerk. Get them out. So if you're a rational human being and you're normally under great circumstances, great, but then a day just aggravated you to all be damned, then it's okay. It's okay. You have every right to feel what you feel, and how you react to it might be a different thing. But you don't have to suppress it. Just let it out somehow, and maybe and try to find. That's what it is. Trying to find the healthiest way to let these things out.
Yep.
It's not keeping it bottled in and then wait until they explode later in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and then of course, if you're finding yourself with these emotions that don't seem to go away,
Yeah, then get counseling.
That could be, and it could be depression. It could be, there's other things, where you feel like you're in a rut and you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
That's where you do get some help. I mean, for me, like I said, grief was such an overwhelming emotion that I hadn't ever experienced that strong. Like, I mean, like how powerful it was and how it affects you. And I mean, and you've done that too. I mean, you've dealt with that stuff. It's just, it was so foreign to me to understand how to deal with it even. Because, you're supposed to be macho, you're supposed to be strong, and especially now having a family. I mean, like, there's all these sort of supposed to be's and they're crap, like they really are.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, I felt a certain way, and I gave myself permission to feel that, and explain it to my kids and explain it, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I mean, my kids would say, hey, you look sad. And instead of being like, no, I'm fine.
Right.
No, you're right. I am sad. And here's why.
I'm sad.
I'm sad, and here's why. And it reminded me of this. And and guess what though? I'm going to be okay, but I am sad right now.
Yeah.
So that's just being honest. And
for sure.
To do it.
Yeah.
So we ultimately want our child to be able to recognize the emotions that they have and understand other people's emotions. That's the gist of this whole podcast episode. So asking them, what are you feeling right now, is a good place to start. Doing that periodically is like, hey, so what exactly are you feeling right now? Not how are you feeling, because they'll just tell you good.
Right.
What are you feeling?
Right.
And they will often answer, especially when they're young, I don't know. That probably means they don't know.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you may have to say, well, I like this one. Well, what if you did know?
If I did know, I'd do this.
What would you say? So if they do answer, I don't know, then it's time to do some emotional intelligence work with them. That could be, like I said, it's, starting from these top steps, and explaining what they are, what the emotions are, that it's okay to have that emotion, how to deal with it, and provide them a good example. It's okay as a man to show emotion.
Right.
You can be a heart warrior, as it's called, where you are macho and, you can have all the testosterone you want, but understanding that having emotion is not a bad thing.
Right.
There's an ability to have a balance.
Sure.
Yeah.
You
don't want to be an emotional wreck all the time.
Yeah. You don't want to
and
go
you don't want to
flying
be
off the
completely
handle
stoic and not have any emotion.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a healthy amount of each. Yeah.
Right. Right. So with that, what do people do if they want to get in contact with us?
And they want to share their emotions?
Yes.
Podcasts at dudesdads.com. Please email us there. If you want to get on social media, go to Twitter at dudesdads, Facebook, dudesdads.com, YouTube, Dad University. I had to preface that from the last episodes. And then, please subscribe there. And then also go to iTunes and Stitcher and leave some reviews there. Subscribe. Tell all your friends and neighbors and whoever else you want to talk to that day.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Anything else on emotional intelligence?
No, EQ is the new IQ.
It is. It's funny too. As I was learning more about this and reading it and how powerful the EQ is for the workplace as well. So, now people are hiring much more on EQ than IQ.
Yeah, I will say the company I work for, the owner is very in touch with the EQ level, and as much as he would respect you knowing certain things, if he has a funny feeling about who you are, and if they act kind of weird, he's like, I don't know, is that guy kind of weird to you? Like, he doesn't even think about what they do. He's like, I don't know. It's kind of this. And I'm like, I sensed it too, but that's interesting you say it that way. It's not like, well, he didn't have these credentials. It's more like,
the workplace is not caring so much about that. I mean, it's like not caring about whether you have a degree or not, or what, they're doing emotional IQ tests. Emotional or EQ tests. It's very, very important.
Sure.
And how you get along with others and success and all that kind of stuff.
And there's people who might not have certain things that have a good EQ and they end up, succeeding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that, that's one to grow on. All right. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.